Well, thank you very much. And as you can see, I'm in the cast, newly cast today, so I'm a little bit stiff. Good morning, Mr. William Chustra, Agriculture Counselor, Vietnam and Thailand, Royal Netherlands Embassy. The Netherlands and Thai Chamber of Commerce, NTCC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon from Digital Economy Promotion Agency. We are very proud to collaborate with NTCC on this event. The event is Best Practices and Return on Investments, Champion of Future Horticulture, Fresh Demand and Climate Change. DEPA is the part of the Royal Thai government under the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society. We would like to be the premier organization driving Thailand toward the digital economy. We have a responsibility to promote and support private investment and business operation related to digital industry and innovation. Also, we would like to collaborate with other entities in terms of development and research in digital industry. Thus, one of our department is focusing on digital agriculture development and promotion through our funds and schemes available. As agriculture has been one of the most important industries in Thailand, when we move to Thailand 4.0, it is still one of the most important industry for us as well. DEPA is focusing on the supporting of farmers, producers and entrepreneurs as well as food industry to adopt and utilize digital technology in their production and process. Under the Thailand Digital Economy and Society Development Plan, we intend to produce 1,600 digital farmers, no less. We are encouraging the farmers to adopt precision agriculture solutions using digital technologies and optimizing plant farming operation and boost production yield. Furthermore, the government is also introducing several digital distribution solutions to boost agriculture trade on the national level. With e-commerce agriculture marketplace, farmer can now connect directly with the end user, expand market reach, and increase profit margin. Smart supply chain solutions also will allow farmers and producers to manage distribution cycles, production time, and also inventory more efficiently. Not only the economic effect that can be elaborated in this digital era, but also the environmental impact can be positively increased. With the concept of the circular economy together with the utilization of digital technology, agriculture and food industry can be one part of the business sector that become more sustainable as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the agriculture sector in Thailand is at a pivotal point in its digital transformation. With the Thailand 4.0 strategy driving this shift through strategic and enabling government policies that support the advancement of farms and modern technologies, precision agriculture tools, and also data-driven smart farming solutions. It is in this spirit that we see this seminar as a good platform for extensive discussion to facilitate know-how transfer, especially to you as an important stakeholder in agriculture business. I would like to give my appreciation to the Netherlands as the leading country in agriculture technology business, who is willing to share their knowledge and experience with us. Also, I would like to thank NTCC as an event organizer and coordinator who initiate the essential conference like this one. The opportunity as such will help us encourage adoption of digital technology while we learn about practical approaches on embracing technology. We will also need to stay focused on practical realities, practical obstacles and challenges, also strategies to overcome those. I urge all of you present here to take this opportunity to participate actively and put forward your views and suggestions. To end off, I wish all of you a very productive time at this event. Best practices and return on investment, champion the future horticulture, fresh demand and climate change. Roundtable discussion today. I hope all of you will walk away with better understandings and practical strategies in embracing digital technology and start digitally transforming your business. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, Kun Chachai, for this opportunity. Stakeholders, NTCC, speakers, friends, horticultural, agriculture enthusiasts. We have a very exciting day, and the future is digital. But is it digital thanks to climate change, or is it digital because of profitability? And how can we gain a competitive advantage with the new technology? How efficient is it? And is it really easy to use? Are questions that are raised. And what's the return on investment if you would apply for a very high-tech horticultural farm? What can we learn together, and how can we share research and development for the future of two horticultural nations and champion the horticulture industry to become very flourishing in the future? As I said, there's a very exciting 2 hours. We have speakers from all across the world tuning in. One of the speakers is from world's best university, and this university is based in Delft. Also, they have advanced in agtech and horticultural technology. The other speaker has championed the United States, Japan, Canada with its best horticultural solutions and agtech, also with us today. We have a speaker that gives you precise numbers, facts on how you can calculate your return on an indoor farm. And this is a turnkey solution. Then we have international supporters that create networking and expertise within the two nations speaking today. Each speaker will have 15 minutes. It's short, but powerful. And after each session, there is place for 1 or 2 questions. Please feel free to do this informally. I have a microphone, and Kun Pichaya will give you a summary in Thai with highlights. If you're ready, I'm ready. Okay. So first speaker on the rundown is Mr. Willem Schoustra. He's the agricultural attaché to Thailand from the Netherlands Embassy. Second speaker is Kun Pan Yawat Kunet from Midpon, the innovation manager who adapts data today to become one of the best performers in agriculture. Then we have Bram Koppert, and Bram works for Priva, and Priva is one of the companies that has championed the United States and many countries to become an excellent performer, and hopefully also in Thailand. Then we have Lieselot de Vries, who works for Technical University Delft. Many of you know it from maybe the Plantenna, the cyber plant, or airplanes flying around with new technology. And Lieselot will give us insight on how research and development can help us forward venturing in new possibilities and new opportunities. So this is thought leadership. Then Infinite Acres by Justin Schoenmaker will be sharing us more insights on indoor farming. And indoor farming is a big question mark because for who is it for and what is it? Is it producing enough? And how much do I need to invest? And Justin will take us on a journey where he gives you exact numbers and what you can get back. Then we move on to circular economy. How do public and private sector work together to create an ecosystem for the future on how to create new solutions and new exports and new products? This will be presented by Holland Circular Hotspot. In the end, thanks to NLM Business, we have the opportunity to hear Jeroen van Haver to share more experts across the world. We'll be focusing on Thailand in 2021. All with all, a great program. I hope you enjoy it. And moreover, that next year, this is a digital preview. We will meet face-to-face in the Netherlands and also in Thailand and venturing into the future together. If Willem is ready, I would like to ask Willem to give his opening speech. Hi, Willem. Ah, there he is.
Hello. Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you for being with us, Willem. You have time for opening speech. I hope you're doing well, safe and sound. I have a great audience here. We're in the Park Hyatt, and we're eager to learn from you and of your vision. Please, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Manuel. Thank you. And let me start thanking DEPA and NTCC putting together this interesting program today. One hand, I have the advantage that I can sit down because I'm also a bit stiff. I did a yoga exercise this morning and my muscles are feeling it. On the other way, I feel sad that I cannot come to Thailand as agricultural counselor for Vietnam and Thailand. Due to the obvious reason of COVID, it's not easy for me to travel. But trust that nevertheless, our cooperation between Netherlands and Thailand does continue full speed. We work and have been working with, for example, the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Katsasat University, and many other organizations in Thailand on several topics. Let me highlight events on sustainable agriculture development. We organized a large forum 2 years ago. Last year, we had a large sustainable livestock event. And very recently, we had a successful agro-water webinar. We have witnessed great enthusiasm, energy, and large participation in these events. But now we also hope for concrete follow-up activities, maybe public-private partnerships and business leads, because that's in the end also what we aim for. And Manuel, but also the CEO of DEPA stated it clearly, yes, the Netherlands is big and famous for their agriculture, being the second largest exporting country of agricultural products of the world. But we also facing challenges, global challenges like food security and climate change, and doing nothing is not an option anymore. But I trust a food secure future and a climate resilient future is possible, but only if we respect the needs of our unique planet, and only if we deal with climate change and respect biodiversity. If we care about farmlands, if we care about our farmers, if we care about our environment, and if we protect water, soils, bees, and other insects. The Netherlands government wants to approach food security in a very specific way, a circular way, a way without waste and more sustainable, and find innovative solutions for to use less water, to improve the quality of water, to use less energy, to lose less food waste, and to take care of our environment. Allow me to give some examples from the Netherlands. More crop per drop. Netherlands tomatoes in high-tech greenhouses take 4 times less water and 10 times more yield than, for example, in open field systems in the Mediterranean. I think that is quite impressive. We also go outer space and use satellites and geodata and turn it into practical and useful information for farmers. Let me also mention precision agriculture, where the resources for plants and animals are used efficiently and on those exact places where they have to maximum effect, where sometimes drones are used for the exact measurements. The Netherlands are happy to share our experience, not only by exporting our tomatoes, but better by exporting our seeds, or technology, or trainings, or consultants. You are always welcome to come to the Netherlands. Of course, when the COVID situation allows us. Many companies are willing to show you around. We did that in the past and we will do that in the future. Let me also mention a current activity that is going on right now. It's a trade mission to the Southeast Asian region. It's a virtual trade mission to 5 countries. It's Vietnam, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, but not least Thailand. Thailand is one of the most prominent countries in that trade mission, and agriculture is one of the major tracks in that trade mission. All the participants in this event, you can still participate and register for this trade mission. And of course, a new and rich agenda upcoming for 2021, where inspiring events on horticulture and agri-tech will be core on our agenda. And hopefully we can also liaise with DEPA and NTCC. Do never hesitate to reach out to the Netherlands Embassy in Bangkok or in Vietnam, where I'm currently based. For now, I think I wish you good luck, a very fruitful event, and also a proper discussion afterwards. Let it be inspire you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Willem. Thank you for being with us and sharing some insights on future cooperation between the Netherlands and Thailand. Our next speaker will be a company that you all know, and that's adapting a lot of technology, data, sensors, and is also having a bright future on adapting more and more of new technology and circular economy. And I would like to welcome our next speaker is Kun Panyawat Kunet from Midpon, the Innovations Manager. And Kun Panyawat will share with us on how Midpon is working on data.
Thank you. สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีครับ just to be here, do I stand here or do I have to face some of the camera?
No, you can stand there.
Okay. สวัสดีครับ ก็ please allow me to do this in English. So I don't know if everybody heard about Midpon, and I'm sure there's a guest over in the internet. So let me try to just give you like a really quick brief, and we're not here to talk about Midpon. Midpon is a sugar company in Thailand, and we are agriculture business in terms of we do a lot of sugarcane, and sugarcane is more plantation type of crop rather than horticulture. But there's a lot of things that we do related to data. So I thought today I'll share some of the learning that we have, something we already work, and a lot of pain points that we are facing. And maybe one of the speakers or people here can help us out, that we can work together. So let me share. First, if you're interested more about Midpon, midpon.com. Feel free to look at our website. My name is Panyawat Ed นะครับ ก็ you can call my name. I am a business innovation for business manager, but I work a lot more into the IT side and the data. So I thought I'll share some of the slides. So next, please. So this is the slide. I gonna spend a lot more time on this slide, and everything else just follow through. This is a slide we come up with a roadmap in terms of data. At like 4 or 5 years ago, we just called data. We didn't have the word big data, and now people just catch up with the word big data. So I kind of put that in the slide. Okay, you don't actually see it on the top. It's actually got co-op. But we come up what we think is the future agriculture and a farmer and a company that work with related to agriculture. What do they want to see? So we kind of brainstorm idea, and we come up with something picture like this, where one side, the right hand side of the slide, is more into environment, the external factor, including the climate change that we're gonna discuss today. And actually, a lot of that already happened in the last 2 years. And on the left side is more into the human focus. It's a lot of things here related to people, and it's not just the farm and the soil and the sun and the weather, but it's the people that you have to connect to. So if you have to kind of put that together, that's actually a lot of data, and actually Midpon alone cannot achieve this. Maybe DEPA can help. We really hope somebody can help us. But if I go through quickly, we play around with the weather forecast, weather historical data, weather prediction, and the best we found is none of them are good. None of them are good enough. We couldn't find anything that's actually really good over more than 3 months. So those are very difficult for farmer and agriculture to make a longer term decision. And the satellite data are nice, but then they have a lot of limitation, and there's still quite a lot of resource that have to be computed with a farmer, and a single people cannot do everything. So then we talk about drone. We fly drone. Drone are very nice, very detail oriented, but then it's just not easily to do it automatically. So, and then we have a lot of sensors, and we do a lot of soil analysis. Actually, go to the field and get the data, and those are actually quite time consuming. Water are very important for the last 2 years. You understand, we have El Nino, and El Nino was actually quite heavy for the last 2 years, and it really drought and actually impact a lot of farmers and then a lot of different sector in agriculture, and turn around really quickly. Now we just got in La Nina, which is kind of interesting. Now we got flood, in rather than just a good plantation, we actually turn around and got more flood. And I think the forecast again that next year gonna switch back to El Nino, so it's gonna be dry and drought again next year. So we'll see about that. Now on the other side, on the left side is more of the, so there's so much research actually done. If you start working on the looking at the data and looking at all the journal and research that people have done in Thailand and outside, but no one really put it all together in one place where the farmer or grower can actually access to. It's really hard to find good data. And then I don't know if we have like any good, like any systems for farm management. I know farmer have several data collecting process, but they never actually have a single platform where they can put all the data together and share the information. And then hopefully maybe some of those applications can be where the people meet. We try to come up with an idea. Can you make an Uber of agriculture? Can you make somewhere people can be a sharing platform where they share, it's a marketplace where you can share input, supply, even human resource, even a contractor, even transportation, because a lot of logistics can be optimized much better. So those are the pictures that we can come up with. And right now we can't focus on more on the environmental side, because I think the technology are getting there and so we're ready to be used. And we're going to move on to the human side very soon. The X and question mark and the tick, and those are more of something that we come up with. Can they scale? Are they ready to use? Is the technology ready? Is the people ready to use it? We try to throw a couple of apps to the grower, and turn out that it's actually very hard for them to adopt. Technology adoption rate is a little bit behind in this area, but I guess it should get a little bit better in the next couple of years. So now we can look at more of the detailed example. Next, please. First, one of the data which actually wasn't in that picture earlier is we do a lot of gene biotech study where we do bioinformatics, and we work with the biotech NASDA in Thailand, where we sequence the gene of the sugarcane. Turn out that humans have 2 billion base pair, but turn out that sugarcane is actually 5 times more. They have over 10 billion base pair, so they are a lot more complicated than human to do sequencing. And but at least we got the first shot, and we try to come up with a different variety and something that we can maybe use in the future. For example, like a drought tolerant, or maybe the one with high sugar yield or high sweetness, we call CCS. We are working on those breeding program, and we have our own breeding, and we partner up with many other breeding programs in Thailand as well. So that's one chunk of big data. Now, next, please. Now, the next one that we work a bit more, the step afterward. Still, we have again the top part actually breeding program, and then the seedling. So you want to come up with a new variety and the fresh, clean, like no disease, no infected clean. So we try to come up with a nursery program where they produce seeding ต้นกล้านะครับ แล้วก็ and then we some of the technology we use from Netherlands, the sensor that in the warehouse, the greenhouse is the one that from here. And there's a couple of researchers working on different topics, and some of them trying to control the temperatures. Say they have they want to produce drought tolerant พันธุ์ที่ทนแรงนะครับก็ they will actually try to manage the greenhouse to make it actually hotter without blowing the air, and then they're going to have a different control greenhouse where they're going to try to control the temperature to see how well the new variety resists to drought. So those are some of the pictures that we work on. Or once the seedling are stronger, then we plant it outside and have them actually face a real environment and see how well can it adapt to the variety in Thailand. For those, I'm sure most people probably don't know, in Thailand we have a problem with the variety. In terms of sugarcane, we only have one variety. So if you like to know, it's called ขอนแก่น3 นะครับ. So we 95% of Thailand have one variety, which actually considered as a very risky behavior, because if got someday got some pest or disease that impact that one variety, it can wipe out the whole industry in that year. So, and that happened in a couple other countries before, like Australia, and then I think Brazil as well, a couple of years ago. So we are trying to come up with the new varieties. Next, please. And yes, and the data is in the field, data is in the grower. Right now, we can't force them to put in the data, so we have a team. A couple thousand people actually go meet the grower. We have a little app. They're not that cool looking, they're not user friendliness, but they're actually very easy to use for the team to go talk to the grower and then collect some data, get an idea what the problem they have or what are they doing. So those are the things that we work on. Next, please. Sensors. Besides the one in the greenhouse, we deploy a lot more weather station and soil moisture sensor on the ground. Those are a couple dots that several dots that we have in Thailand. We have a sugar mill more into the northeast Pakistan of Thailand, and what the problem with this sensor are they break down really quickly. Most of them on average they last about 6 months. And once you have over 100 sensor points, then it's actually quite really difficult to maintain them. So those are some of the pain points we have. And so next, please. Yes, now this is the satellite data. The satellite is great, like in terms of scaling, you can cover the entire country really quickly, right? But the problem is, well, the last 3 months, what happened here? We have rain almost every day in Northeast, and it's nice to have rain, but for us, we can see what the sugarcane look like. So some of the example that I show, those are the algorithm we try to come up with. See if you can see through the cloud, because the satellites, outside the world, and if you look through the sky, it's actually really difficult. So can we find algorithm machine learning AI program that can actually see through the cloud with whatever they can? Not doing too well yet, but it's kind of look okay. Some of the pictures that show up there, and we have a lot of area in the sugarcane. Mid Pon alone have 2 million rye, about 300,000 hectares. So to be able to scale and look at everywhere is quite difficult. Okay, and then we do a lot of modeling. Next, please. Drone is another really cool technology. We have a couple of teams that fly drone. If you can see the picture from the top view, this is one of the areas that we take picture earlier. You can see, now I don't think people at the internet can see, but you can kind of see that when you plan, some of the area look nice, especially on the roadside. But then if you look at the top view, they're quite empty in the middle, and a grower can go and fix them. The problem with drone is that it's not scalable. We don't have enough people to be able to fly that many drone to take a lot of pictures. So we're looking for a way to maybe automate the drone. And the data itself is great, but then how to get the data source is really a little hard to come by. Okay, next please. And then put it all together. It's reporting and data, and this is more of into the corporate. How do you get the data and then make it look nice? So just I thought these are some of the technology we would like to share. Last slide, I think. So another topic with we are kind of start to be really interested into is some of the robotic that start to show. You can see in the YouTube and in the news where the agriculture gonna make a little different. These are the best sensor in the world, and they are a sensor that can move, so they can actually do some work too, hopefully. And we are interested into this area. So if anybody who interested, and maybe welcome to talk to me. And the bottom part is we try to picture what the future agriculture look like. The climate change gonna impact us a lot. So should we move indoor? Should we grow the plantation next to apartment? Can you actually grow rice and sugarcane and whatever corn inside the apartment building and live there? Or do you want to have a non-human, just solely robot that go in and do all the work in the farm, and something that may happen in 10 years? Yeah. So the vision that we try to throw in is let's make farming cool again. It used to be a big job, right? Now not many people want to do farming. No Gen Y want to go back to the field. So let's try to make it cool again. Okay, thank you, Kap.
Thank you, Kun Panyawat. Kun had thought leadership by Midpon. Again, a big thank you. Before we head off to the next speaker, I would like to give a quick summary to Kun Pichaya, who can resume. We'll do it later. Yeah.
Okay. So I will try to ขอโทษค่ะ เดี๋ยวจะสรุปให้ฟังคร่าวๆนะคะสำหรับช็อตเมื่อกี้แต่ว่าถ้าใครมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมก็สามารถถามคุณปัญญวัฒน์ได้นะคะเพราะว่ายังอยู่กับเราอยู่ก็คร่าวๆนะคะก็คือหลักๆเนี่ยเทคโนโลยีก็แบ่งเป็น2ด้านนะคะในส่วนฝั่งของสิ่งแวดล้อมแล้วก็ฝั่งที่เป็นเรื่องคนนะคะส่วนฝั่งของสิ่งแวดล้อมเนี่ยก็ยกตัวอย่างเช่นโดรน weather station sensor หรือว่ากลุ่มพวกนั้นใช่ไหมคะแล้วก็อีกฝั่งหนึ่งก็คือเป็นความรู้ของทางด้านเราที่ใช้ประยุกต์ใช้เทคโนโลยีไม่ว่าจะเป็นfarm management การประยุกต์ใช้เทคโนโลยีหรือว่าความรู้ต่างๆนะคะซึ่งในตอนนี้เนี่ยการประยุกต์ใช้เทคโนโลยีของบริษัทมิตรผลนะคะก็มีอยู่ด้วยกัน6ด้านนะคะก็คือเริ่มจากตัว Biotechnology นะคะหรือว่าเกี่ยวกับทางด้านsequence ยีนของทางด้านอ้อยเพื่อจะศึกษาว่ายีนตรงไหนที่ส่งผลต่อผลผลิตที่ดีขึ้นความหวานหรือว่าทนต่อความแล้งนะคะแล้วก็จะมีในส่วนของการพัฒนาเรื่องการต้นกล้าใช่ไหมคะที่ต้องการให้มีพันธุ์ใหม่ๆมากขึ้นเนื่องจากตอนนี้เนี่ยประเทศไทยเองเนี่ยก็คือมีการปลูกอ้อยอยู่เพียงสายพันธุ์เดียวเท่านั้นซึ่งก็มีความเสี่ยงในกรณีที่เกิดโรคขึ้นหรือเกิดอะไรขึ้นก็อาจจะหายไปเลยทีเดียวได้นะคะแล้วก็การที่ออกไปในฟาร์มนะคะแล้วก็เก็บข้อมูลจากทางเกษตรกรนะคะซึ่งตรงนั้นเองเนี่ยก็เป็นส่วนสำคัญที่ทางมิตรผลก็ได้พัฒนาตัวคล้ายๆกับแอปพลิเคชันขึ้นมาเพื่อให้ทางผู้ปลูกอ้อยนะคะได้บันทึกข้อมูลที่ได้จากทางฟิลลงไปนะคะแล้วก็นอกจากนั้นเนี่ยส่วนที่4นะคะก็จะเป็นในกลุ่มของเซ็นเซอร์ที่มีทั้งตัว weather station แล้วก็ตัวที่วัดความชื้นในดินนะคะแต่ว่าปัญหาของตรงเทคโนโลยีจุดนี้ก็คือเสียหายค่อนข้างง่ายอายุการใช้งานแค่ประมาณ6เดือนนะคะแล้วก็เนื่องจากมีกระจายอยู่ทั่วประเทศก็อาจจะเพิ่มแรงกดดันในการใช้งานตัวนี้มากขึ้นนะคะแล้วก็ส่วนของข้อมูลจากทางดาวเทียมนะคะซึ่งก็ดีในกรณีภาพรวมที่เห็นได้ชัดว่าภาพใหญ่จะเป็นยังไงนะคะแต่ว่าปัญหาก็คือว่าบางครั้งเนี่ยอากาศก็ไม่เป็นใจที่เราจะสามารถมองผ่านเมฆหรือว่าฝนลงมาได้ทำให้ไม่สามารถวิเคราะห์ข้อมูลได้ในระยะนั้นๆนะคะแล้วก็อีกส่วนหนึ่งก็คือเป็นส่วนของโดรนนะคะที่สามารถบินเข้าไปสำรวจการพื้นที่การปลูกในได้ใกล้ชิดมากขึ้นเมื่อเทียบกับข้อมูลทางดาวเทียมนะคะแต่ว่าตรงจุดนี้เนี่ยก็ยังมีจุดที่พัฒนาอีกเนื่องจากว่าอาจจะยังไม่มีคนที่บินโดรนเพื่อเก็บข้อมูลได้มากเพียงพอทำให้ข้อมูลที่ได้ก็ยังไม่เพียงพอแล้วก็น่าจะเป็นไปได้ถ้าสามารถทำให้เป็นระบบอัตโนมัติได้บทก็จะสามารถสะดวกขึ้นในการเก็บข้อมูลค่ะแล้วสุดท้ายก็คือการที่จะเอาทั้งหมดที่ใช้เทคโนโลยีทั้งหมดเนี่ยค่ะมารวมกันว่าจะเป็นยังไงขึ้นสุดท้ายก็คือว่าอยากทำให้การปลูกพืชนะคะเทกลับขึ้นมาอีกครั้งหนึ่งค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Kun Pichaya, for sharing. The next speaker, I actually know for almost like 10 years. In the Netherlands, we call this company the Apple of the smartphone industry. There's no challenge that's too big or too small or too big for them. They're heading to Southeast Asia, and we're hoping they can do more in Thailand. An expert in horticulture, an expert in indoor farming, fully automated. You'll be surprised. And I would like to welcome Bram. Bram, welcome.
Thank you very much, Manuel.
Bram, you have around 15 minutes. I did the pre-work for you, so they expect a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, the pressure is high, Manuel. But first of all, thanks the Netherlands Thai Chamber of Commerce for organizing, and together with DEPA and the CEO, Mr. Koen Chachai, as a host of this event. And unfortunately, I cannot be in the room. I wish I could be in the room because today I want to bring my enthusiasm for farming, and especially to bring my enthusiasm for high-tech farming. And I completely agree with the previous speaker that farming is cool. Today, I also want to case that farming is profitable. And farming is also profitable for big investors. And that is what I want to bring today. Because in many countries, farming is still regarded as a low-level job. But luckily, technologies helped us to make it a sound and profitable business model, a predictable business model that big investors can rely on. My name is Bram Koppert and I represent Priva. Priva indeed is a software, high-tech software company for automation of greenhouses and indoor farms and other agricultural applications. And I'm happy to address you today and to share my knowledge. Is it going to the next slide, Manuel? Yes. And
yes, now it is.
yes, now it is. Today's lineup of speakers, we will inform you about the technologies that are already being developed and deployed in horticulture and in food production, and to explain you why food production is such a big business and how you can also make your strategies towards it. I will focus on digitalization, and I will say something about autonomous growing. But first, we all recognize and we realize that an increased global demand for safe and for healthy food is there already. We see it all over the world, and there are so many technologies and companies that can help scaling the sustainable food production. And that means that there is also an increased demand for high-tech food production, like greenhouses. And this attracts big corporate investors. And it also makes growers grow bigger and they scale. And we see companies that actually with turnovers more than $100 million US, which are huge corporate investors. We see big Asian investors also taking financial participations in US companies, for example, which is interesting developments. And it is definitely the technological development that makes this happening, and the technological development that is making the business model sustainable and secure and proven. And worldwide, the business model of high-tech food production in greenhouses is proven profitable, and that it is quite capital intensive, and that's why also groups like you are invited for these discussions to get you enthusiastic about investing in this very important, but most of all also profitable industry. Very shortly about Priva. Priva is a high-tech software company, and I want to explain what Priva is doing to help you secure the business model. And everything is about data. Everything is about control. And Priva is making software to let you be in control of your crop and let you be in control of your growing process and flower development or irrigation strategy. And we make sure that we take care of the plant so that the plant can generate its production and can generate you profit. We will give insight with our software in all the cost as well, because in the end, it's not only about having the best plants. It's a business model, and you want to have it profitable. We make sure that the plant keeps evaporating and keeps producing and keeps producing fruits as long as you want it. And we help. One of the most exciting developments in our market is generally known as autonomous growing. And autonomous growing, a complete autonomous greenhouse is still far away. I love to see the robots in the previous presentation, which can also be part of autonomous growing. For Priva, where we help is to help to create the perfect climate for plants and to help especially the growers to increase skill, because one of the big limitations of professional and high-tech growing is that you need a lot of knowledge to operate the greenhouses. And with a software suite as Plantonomy, we help investors, we help growers to grow bigger and to keep it manageable. And we do that by smart algorithms. We do that by feedback loops with sensors. The most important is that all the plants have a biorhythm, and that is what we generate in our software. In the end, to make an autonomous growing possible, you need the complete suite of hardware and software. You need good irrigation systems, you need good sensors, you need the good partners for vision technology, and everything can be connected to the cloud. In this case, can be connected to a Priva cloud to make sure wherever you are and whatever time, and you can see what's happening in the greenhouse, and you can actually adjust your strategies. It's not only the plant that is important. For you as an investor or as a grower, you also want to manage your energy cost and your labor cost. And it's a delicate balance between higher production and lower energy cost, or higher production and lower labor cost. And this is a game that you can play with software. If you know prices are high, you can push your production. If you want to be earlier in the market than your competitors, you can also adjust your strategy for that. And in the end, growing and farming is a business model, and it needs to generate cash flow and positive returns. I'm based in Asia for about 8 years now, and I want to share some experience I have from the Chinese market, where the Chinese government has created a very healthy investment climate for high-tech horticulture. And we see that our customers, they are high-tech growers, and they are expanding every year with tens of hectares. These are very big investors, and they keep expanding, and they still have not enough production to supply to the market. So they can easily distinguish their product in the marketplace from the local production and what's coming from the high-tech food greenhouses. And they keep expanding, and the most interesting is to see that it is not the old farmers who are expanding their operation, but it is really real estate investors that build greenhouses for tomatoes, or it's technology companies, even computer producing companies. We see investing in blueberry facilities, for example, in China, and food processing companies investing in greenhouses. So investors in China come from many different industries, and that is for me an even better proof that this is a profitable business model. And we have also looking at the investment, but also the cost of operation. Priva is also working closely with these Chinese investors and investors worldwide to design the optimal energy systems. We have advised our Chinese customers with heat storage or cold storage solutions, or how to connect to the waste heat of power plants, or how to connect to the CO2 waste from the petrochemical industry. There are so many solutions that can be interesting and can, in the end, lower the cost price of your production. And I think what is most important to see that the early starters in these industries, they gain the first market access. And we see that the investors that started early in China, they are now the biggest players because they were as the first to set up the sales networks and set up the quantities that no one else could reach. So they could reach especially the online platforms, and we have seen such an enormous demand from online sources that only the big players there can offer a reliable supply to this market. Often we thought in the past that with the platform, small growers can supply to many small or via the platform to the market. But in practice, we see that the big investors, they still take on the online sales platforms the biggest share of the sales because of their volume, and that makes it a very interesting business model for them. So I hope that I explained to you a bit, and I brought my enthusiasm for this market. And I'm looking forward to hear from you later, and I look forward to see you in the Netherlands when you will visit the Netherlands. And you're very much welcome to Priva, and we're happy to help you with any questions that come up during the process. And thank you for your attention, and to get some questions later to discuss.
Thank you, Bram. Thank you very much for giving your insights from a more financial and investor perspective. Before we've had Midpon, who adapted technology. This is a bit into the future, I think, in Southeast Asia, but it's coming. And first movers take advantage. But before we had to TU Delft, one of the best universities in technology advancement. Are there any questions for Bram? And maybe Peter can. Yeah. Okay. We go first. Quickly do a sideway for live translation.
เดี๋ยวจะขอสรุปสั้นๆก่อนนะคะก็สำหรับบริษัทพรีว่านะคะสปีกเกอร์ก็คือชื่อคุณบรามนะคะก็ในส่วนนี้เขาก็พูดถึงว่าการลงทุนในเทคโนโลยีที่เกี่ยวกับการปลูกพืชหรือว่ากรีนเฮาส์นะคะก็ไม่ได้เป็นแค่แบบเทคโนโลยีเล็กๆแล้วก็มีกำไรค่อนข้างมากนะคะแล้วก็เขาก็แนะนำในส่วนของเทคโนโลยีจากทางบริษัทพรีว่าเองนะคะซึ่งเป็นเหมือนแพลตฟอร์มที่ชื่อว่า Autonomous Growing นะคะก็คือเหมือนให้ทางผู้ปลูกนะคะสามารถมอนิเตอร์ทุกอย่างได้เลยผ่านบนแพลตฟอร์มแล้วก็อินทิเกรตข้อมูลทุกอย่างรวมไปเลยทั้งไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่อง climate หรือว่าเรื่องข้อมูลต่างๆนะคะแล้วก็ทุกอย่างเนี่ยก็คือจะถูกลิงก์อยู่บนคลาวด์ค่ะแล้วก็นอกจากจะเป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับการเพาะปลูกแล้วเนี่ยก็ยังมีเรื่องการ manage ที่เกี่ยวกับ cost ไม่ว่าจะเป็นด้านพลังงานแล้วก็ด้านการใช้ด้านแรงงานด้วยค่ะซึ่งทั้งหมดนี้เองเนี่ยก็ทำให้เป็นการดึงดูดความสนใจนักลงทุนนะคะไม่ใช่แค่เกษตรกรที่ต้องการพัฒนาตัวนี้แต่ว่านักลงทุนที่มาจากด้านอื่นๆนะคะหลายท่านก็เข้ามามีบทบาทในตลาดที่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องการปลูกพืชในเรือนกระจกนะคะแล้วก็เขาเองก็ได้พูดด้วยว่าทางพี่ว่านะคะนอกจากจะเป็นเรื่องนี้แล้วเนี่ยก็ยังมีการออกแบบระบบที่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องพลังงานนะคะที่สามารถทำให้ประหยัดพลังงานได้ค่ะแล้วก็ในส่วนเขาก็ยกตัวอย่างในตลาดในประเทศจีนนะคะที่ผู้เล่นส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยก็มาจากเป็นนักลงทุนที่มาจากประเภทอื่นๆแต่ว่าก็เข้ามามีบทบาทในการสนับสนุนแล้วก็ลงทุนการปลูกพืชที่ใช้เทคโนโลยีตัวนี้นะคะแล้วก็ยิ่งเริ่มต้นเร็วเท่าไหร่ก็คือสามารถเข้าถึงตลาดได้เร็วขึ้นมากขึ้นเท่านั้นค่ะก็คร่าวๆประมาณนี้
Okay, thank you, Kongpicha, for a question for your summary. We have a question here. I was thinking, okay.
Hello, thank you for your speech. I would like to ask about the scale, like the Priva technology. I think mainly focus on the big scale of the production, but how you think it can adapt to the small scale of the production, or is there some implement on the small scale production also, and do you think it is profitable for the small scale?
Yes, thank you for your question. Today, indeed, I focused on the high-tech, big-scale greenhouse business. Certainly, we see lower scale also being profitable, and there is many technologies that can be applied, like precision irrigation, technologies. Priva also is doing that, but also for the online platform or AI autonomous growing modules, yeah, can also be applied to smaller farms. Yeah.
To give an answer to your question, any more question before we head to Delft? To Delft. Yeah.
How do you call the standard of the produce? Like, is it the safe food or is the organic produce? How do you call the produce you get from this technology?
That's a little bit difficult discussion because it's a matter of definition and it depends on local and government regulations. Definitely with this kind of technologies, you can do it safer, you can do it more efficient and with less resources. Then it still depends on, for example, how much fertilizers, how much pesticides you use in the greenhouse to see what kind of standard the government would give it.
Okay. Well, later we have a Q&A session, and I would like to go to our next speaker is Lieselot de Vries, who works for Technical University Delft, also known for other technology advances. And Lieselot is working recently in the agtech industry, and she hopes that science and research can pioneer and give tools to the producing countries and also supplying countries to venture into the future with new possibilities. Hello, Lieselot.
Hi, good morning. I see that my background is a little bit off.
Okay. Well, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I'm going to delete the virtual background. Oh my God.
Switch off your different background. Oh, there you go.
Better.
Hi, welcome.
Well, good morning. My apologies. That was too green. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity and the invitation. The previous speakers have already, I think, explained a lot of interesting things. I hope I can inspire you a little bit with our practices and what we work on. Is the sound all right and everything?
Yes, we can hear you and everybody's watching you.
Okay, then I'll share my screen as well. All right. I am the business developer of the TU Delft, Technical University Delft AgTech Institute, a relatively new institute. It was founded late last year to foster public-private partnerships in research and development, research and innovation in our beautiful industry. The previous speakers already introduced the challenge that we have to attract new capacity to this industry. I believe I can contribute to that with our pool of 25,000 students at Technical University Delft. Of course, they do not all work in our industry, but I hope I can persuade a few to devote their bright minds to our industry and contribute in the challenges we have in fresh demand and countering climate change. Next slide. What we do, we are a university, so we collaborate with a lot of public-private partners in challenges. We contribute to the sustainable future of agri-food by devoting our technical and systems-oriented expertise. We believe there's a very professional industry ecosystem of Wageningen University, but also companies such as Priva that have helped this international industry to the level it is today. And our goal is to contribute to this with the more technical and systems-oriented expertise. We can do so by several research projects. So this is the earlier technical readiness level projects together with the private sector and the pool of academic talent we have. The pool of academic talent is, as I said, 25,000 students but also 5,000 researchers. And we build consortia. I'm happy to share that we also have some projects with Priva, for example. And most of these projects are either publicly subsidized or subsidized by private equity. It's a collaboration always. And this is the team that I work with. We have a scientific director, Roland van Ham, a student assistant, and another business developer, Paul. But more importantly, it's supported by an academic board. This academic board are professors in their respective fields, and I'll explain a little bit more about these themes that can be seen above as 6 icons. In the next slide, 6 themes. Why these 6 themes? We, for example, do not have knowledge on plants because the industry already has. So what we have is these 6 key technological themes. Some examples are already discussed earlier. For example, AI. All the new technologies that are introduced, what do? They of course improve practices, but they also produce staggering amounts of data. And we all know that simply by collecting data, we don't improve practices. But AI can be used to, for example, advise on crop production, to improve environmental control in a greenhouse, but also to indicate the right moment of harvesting and optimize the supply chain. And another example, environmental resources, definitely in combating climate change, we need to measure and model the use of water, soil, and climate conditions and relate them to the plant growth. We can do so with high resolution, but also at multiple scales. The icon shows it can be measured from a satellite, but we can also measure it more in the ground. For example, sensor technology, the 4th theme. Within this theme, we focus on realizing new sensor technologies, but also improve the implementation of existing sensors. And I'll explain some projects after this slide. I did not skip the 3rd theme. It was also briefly mentioned. Robotic systems, they have the potential to observe, to analyze and treat crops in a precise and objective way. Today, a lot of practices are done by humans and they're great at it, but robotic systems have the chance to observe more objectively. And another example is the drones. We are working on drones to fly in greenhouses. So these are very small, even swarm-like drones that communicate together and avoid obstacles such as wires of tomato plants, but also avoid humans. And they will never harm humans or damage the crop. So these are research projects that we work on towards autonomous drones. I think earlier it was mentioned that a lot of human capacities now is needed to steer the drones to observe continuously. We are working on creating autonomous systems. Another example is residual streams, let me say 5th theme, smart systems. Residual streams of horticulture and the food industry are after a major cost, and farmers, companies and governments can derive value from these flows. So this would have a positive effect on nature and climate and is a valuable resource to farmers. And last but not least, sustainable energy sources. Definitely the horticulture industry highly depends on cheap fossil fuels, for example, natural gas. Energy prices fluctuate and excessive amount of CO2 is emitted. And this urges us to create more sustainable, renewable and low-cost energy sources. Also, given that natural gas will not be used in the future, how do we create new sources of CO2 for plant growth? We believe we can contribute to this by system integration of new technologies such as hydrogen transition, geothermal energy, etc. An example of one of the themes, sensor technology, is the plantenna. It was shortly introduced in the beginning. Plantenna is a collaboration between 4 technical universities, and a large group of companies. So it's Technical University of Delft, but also Twente, Wageningen, and Eindhoven. And the aim of this project is to create botanic sensor networks towards Internet of Plants. It was mentioned earlier that current sensor technology is large, bulky, sometimes even expensive, but also breaks down after a month or 6. So we are working towards very small sensors that are ideally also cheap. So if they would get lost or break, it's no problem. You create a network in your field or in your greenhouse of very small botanic sensors that measure, for example, in the plant or in the direct vicinity of the plant. It could measure directly in the plant, for example, sap flow, which is used to transport water and glucose. And we're also working towards powering these sensors autonomously, so they don't stop working suddenly. Yeah, another example of where we use AI in the strawberry chain. I think you also all know that strawberry is a soft fruit, and in the soft fruit chain, unfortunately, there's a lot of waste. I believe even 1/3 of what is produced will never reach customer, whereas it's a relatively expensive product. So that's not only a shame in terms of nature, but also a cost problem. The aim of this project is to develop a prediction model. Algorithms will be used to calculate the right time to harvest the fruit, and they will determine which distribution channel to best suits the predicted shelf life. For example, if it's a very strong quality, it hypothetically could be entering a longer supply chain. For example, it could travel a little bit further. But if it's a short shelf life prediction, it should be sold the next day at the fresh market, for example. So the chain will be more accurate. We also will calculate or predict the estimated effects of decision more accurately. And for soft fruit growers, this is extremely important because the risk of short shelf life, the surpluses or shortages, and poor quality, they should be properly addressed. And we believe that recent developments in the application of data and AI are very promising in minimizing waste in this, in this case, the soft fruit chain. But of course, this creates opportunities for other products as well. What is also already shortly mentioned by Priva is the concept of autonomous growing. Of course, this entails a variety of things, not only a steering mechanism or a control, but also indeed robotics. A team of TU Delft students, researchers, and some companies have won the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, which is every year organized by Wageningen and the IT company of Tencent. The challenge was to grow cherry tomatoes remotely using algorithms, and I believe the biggest take back from this competition is that all the teams that used AI actually beat professional growers. And I'm also happy, of course, that we won of all the teams, but the biggest takeaway is that all teams performed better with AI than traditional or professional growers. They had access to a high-tech greenhouse compartment. It was equipped with the same installation, control, temperature, light, humidity, etc. And we believe this proves that autonomous growing offers excellent opportunity, and data-driven control approaches that combine machine learning and AI can reduce energy use, it can optimize the climate control, and it even can produce the best quality tomatoes. So it's a win-win-win situation everywhere. Of course, this is not a technology ready for market. We're a university, so we develop proof of concepts, and we work with the industry to bring these proof of concept to the market. So that's also our ambition. As a recap, we have the ambition to build a strong, coherent and complementary research portfolio. And the Institute is actually a point of contact in this industry. So all questions or ambitions to collaborate, please contact us. We will also work in a triple helix association or a triple helix forum. So we work with local governments, with national governments, with the companies and other knowledge institutes to combine our knowledge and expertise. And thank you for listening. I hope it was clear and I inspired you a bit.
Okay, thank you, Lieselot, for your presentation. I now understand why you didn't have facts like return on investment information to put on the slide. Is because you are working on breakthrough information live with students, and it was really interesting to see what you shared with us. Before we go to the translation, question from my end, like how do we keep this innovation information flow going between the investors and growers here in TU Delft? And then we can answer that after the translation is finished.
ค่ะก็จะขอสรุปของทางส่วน TU Delft นะคะก็ทาง TU Delft อะค่ะก็เพิ่งตั้งตัวAgtech Institute นะคะหรือสถาบันที่ดูแลเกี่ยวกับเรื่อง Agriculture Technology ขึ้นมาเมื่อไม่นานมานี้นะคะแล้วก็เนื่องจากทางมหาลัยอะค่ะเป็นมหาลัยชั้นนำด้านเทคโนโลยีอยู่แล้วอะค่ะก็เลยแล้วก็มองเห็นว่าตรงนี้เป็นส่วนสำคัญนะคะแล้วก็ส่วนที่สำคัญมากสำหรับที่ทางมหาลัยก็คือเป็นการร่วมมือกันระหว่าง3ส่วนนะคะทั้งในภาคธุรกิจภาครัฐแล้วก็ทางมหาวิทยาลัยนะคะที่จะพัฒนาตรงส่วนของเทคโนโลยีทางด้านการเกษตรไปพร้อมๆกันนะคะโดยที่ทาง TU Delft นะคะก็โฟกัสอยู่6ธีมสำคัญนะคะก็คือจะเป็นส่วนของ AI ส่วนของที่เกี่ยวกับทรัพยากรที่เกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมเพื่อทางด้านเพื่อเอามาสู้ทางด้านclimate change นะคะแล้วก็มีส่วนของโรบอทกับโดรนนะคะส่วนที่เป็นเรื่องของเซ็นเซอร์ส่วนที่เป็นระบบที่สมาร์ทนะคะแล้วก็ส่วนสุดท้ายก็คือการใช้พลังงานอย่างยั่งยืนนะคะซึ่งในแต่ละส่วนนะคะก็จะมีโปรเจกต์ที่ต่างๆกันไปนะคะแล้วก็ทางวิทยากรนะคะก็ได้เมนชั่นพูดถึงอยู่3โปรเจกต์นะคะที่เขายกตัวอย่างขึ้นมาก็คือในตัวโปรเจกต์แรกนะคะก็คือแพนเทนนานะคะก็คือเป็นการที่พัฒนาตัวเซ็นเซอร์ขนาดเล็กนะคะที่จะติดตั้งไปที่ตัวพืชหรือตัวต้นไม้เลยนะคะเพื่อที่จะเก็บข้อมูลแล้วก็วัดค่าต่างๆที่โดยตรงจากทางต้นไม้นะคะแล้วก็อีกส่วนหนึ่งนะคะก็คือการใช้ AI ในการพัฒนา supply chain ของสตรอเบอรี่นะคะเนื่องจากสตรอเบอรี่เนี่ยเป็นผลไม้ที่เสียง่ายแล้วก็ทำให้ถึงปลูกขึ้นมาเนี่ย1 ใน 3ของการปลูกเนี่ยค่ะก็คือเป็นคอสที่เสียไปกับwaste นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยเขาก็เลยพัฒนาโมเดลที่จะคำนวณขึ้นมานะคะว่าเราควรจะเก็บเกี่ยวผลผลิตตอนไหนแล้วก็ผลผลิตที่เก็บเกี่ยวได้เนี่ยมีคอนดิชันแบบไหนควรจะส่งไปขายแบบเก็บไว้นานๆหรือว่าควรจะส่งไปขายแบบเก็บทันทีนะคะเพื่อที่จะตัดสินใจได้อย่างถูกต้องมากขึ้นแล้วก็ตัวเทคโนโลยีสุดท้ายที่เขายกตัวอย่างนะคะก็คือเป็นตัวส่วนของautonomous greenhouse นะคะก็คือปกติเนี่ยเขาก็จะมีการแข่งการปลูกพืชในเรือนกระจกแบบจากระยะไกลนะคะซึ่งปกติทางทีมที่ใช้ AI นะคะก็คือชนะคนผู้ปลูกปกติอยู่ตลอดเลยนะคะแล้วก็การปลูกเนี่ยก็คือทุกอย่างเป็นออโต้มีการใช้อัลกอริทึมแล้วก็ควบคุมทุกอย่างจากทางไกลหมดเลยค่ะแต่ว่าที่เขาเมนชั่นก็คือในส่วนของทางมหาวิทยาลัยอะค่ะเนื่องจากจะเป็นทางการวิจัยก็ยังจะไม่ได้ทุกอย่างเนี่ยยังไม่ได้ไปสู่ตลาดที่เป็นการแบบคอมเมอร์เชียลอะค่ะก็ยังอยู่ในขั้นวิจัยแล้วก็ร่วมมือกับทาง business แล้วก็ทางบริษัทต่อไปอะค่ะ
Okay, thank you, Gunpicha. Later we have maybe 1 or 2 questions to Lieselot, and first we want to keep this information and innovation flow going even after this session. Lieselot, have you thought about how we could proceed?
The beauty of, I think, of working for a university is that we mainly work pre-competitive. So it's most of the time a matter of time before the new knowledge or information we create reaches the general public. The project consortia we work in, of course, always have first-hand information, so they are informed a little bit earlier. But as a university, most projects are largely publicly funded. So after a couple of years, this knowledge becomes available to the public via publications, for example. Also, we have a website where all projects are in a high level described. And if you wish to find out more in detail, I only can say, please do visit us when time allows this, and we can continue the more in-depth discussion about certain projects. And the information flow, I think seminars such as this or visits are a great way to keep the discussion going and discover potential collaboration fields.
Thank you, Lieselot. Are there any questions? Cyroplant, Plantenna. Anybody? No. Okay, Lieselot, thank you very much. I think we'll definitely will re-invite you on face-to-face and more engagement with Thai growers, Thai investors, because we're simply on a mission, and that mission is to digitalize and make Thai produce one of the winners in Southeast Asia and maybe even beyond in increasing exports and becoming super competitive. Lieselot, thanks again, and I hope you enjoy your day. The next speaker will be a very interesting one. Even I was very surprised by this speaker, and this speaker actually worked in New York with Guggenheim projects and really brought to market the urban farm, or the indoor farm. Now, the indoor farm, last year it was a misconception that the indoor farm was actually for everybody, and you could never outperform the greenhouse with huge productivity. But it reduces the shelf life and it reduces the cold chain, and especially people who really care about food safety would like to pay for it. So Justin Schoenmaker. Justin, welcome.
Thank you, Manuel.
Hi, Justin. How are you?
Great, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me here.
You're calling in from where?
I'm actually I'm in the Netherlands. I'm working from home due to COVID.
Okay, okay. And we're very excited to hear about the indoor farming projects you have and how we can learn from the Thai perspective to it. Whenever you're ready, take us through your journey.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for inviting me, as mentioned. I will keep it as short as possible because I can talk about us for hours, but won't do that for now. So Infinite Acres is a joint venture between three parties. It is Ocado, one of the largest retailers in the UK. It's about 80 acres farms, which is an online operator and grower of indoor food production. And also Priva is one of the joint venture partners. We were founded last year as an indoor farming turnkey supplier with a global approach, because there's a lack of global initiatives. You see, many farm initiatives are just focusing on just one farm, and we experienced over the last 13 years that there were a lot of challenges that can be handled, and we think that we have addressed those challenges. What I wanted to do with you today is to give you more insight and focus that you can not only be sustainable and have some advantages in indoor farming in general, but also that it can be profitable. There it is. So I think it's really important that in the future for indoor farming, it's not a faraway future. I think it's really going to happen at this moment. We've already built several farms. We have 10 farms operational at the moment. We just finished a farm in Hamilton, Ohio of 6,000 square meters, fully automated. I think the future is here and now. It's not only for the US or Europe, but this is also for Asia, and Bangkok can be, for instance, really interesting. So if you talk about profitability, we see that the majority of our farms have a payback for return on investment in 3 to 5 years. Of course, everything depends on local circumstances, investments you need to make, labor cost, those kind of things, energy, but average is 3 to 5 years. Of course, it's very important to be more sustainable these days. Use less natural resources, make sure that you produce less CO2, be more efficient with water. In our concepts, we use 97% less water than in a conventional way of growing, but also compared to the greenhouse industry, because we have a completely closed system. All evaporation of the plants will be recaught. What's very important, because you have a fully controlled environment, you do not need to add any pesticides or herbicides. So you can directly bring it to the supply chain and it's ready to eat. And also that extends the shelf life of the products by a lot. Low food miles, almost no food miles, because you can bring it next to the consumer where the demand is. Like mentioned, reduction of carbon footprint. And also what for investor perspective is very essential is that you have a consistency. You have year round exactly the same output week after week. So you're not depending on any outside conditions. You're not depending on boats, traffic, airplanes flying in with fresh produce. It's always there. And the advantage of an indoor farm is that you're being independent of the local climate conditions. So it doesn't matter that it's very hot outside, you can still achieve the same productions due to the use of technology. I'm trying to move to the next slide, but nothing's happening. Oh, there it is. So the challenges, and this is really a global thing, but I think for each individual country, you see these trends. You see the growing population worldwide, but it's for most countries as well. You see the urbanization. Many people from the countryside will move to the cities. You see still that a lot of food miles are there. Because you see the production areas are most far away from where the consumers are. And we're using the Earth's resources, and while it's not always available, food safety is a very important thing. But you also see the consumer awareness. The consumers are more willing to know what to eat. Where does their food come from? What kind of impact does that have on the planet? Is it healthy? How can I extend my life by eating healthy? Am I bringing the right food for my children? All those kind of things play a big role in food demand. And of course, local food production is giving the majority of the people control over those questions. So I made a little graph about production to make a comparison from growing outside in covered soil, and in this case as a reference with the tomato production, what you need to use in water and in crop protection compared to the production. And what you see is with each stage, for instance, in your covered soil, you use for a kilogram of tomatoes or 4 kilograms of tomatoes, you will need 100 liters of water and a lot of crop protection to protect the crop. But if you follow that with the high-tech glass houses that you have nowadays around the world, and the majority of them are built by greenhouse builders from the Netherlands, you have production of already above over 100 kilo, and you only need to add like 5 liters of water, and you have a minimum use of crop protection. And then you see the new market, indoor farming. We already have 20% more production and less water use for that output. And that's only the beginning, because we're just starting to know how indoor farming works and how much potential is in there, because we have all elements under control. And that's also why we're working very close with seed breeders. You can all have this presentation afterwards, of course. So I think what the most important thing is, because we can all tell you many stories about how good indoor farming is and how great and what you can achieve with it. But I think also for the investment side, the numbers are very important. If I look at the farms that we built, we have a reference design, and that's what we built in the US, of 6,000 square meters in 10 layers. And what you see if you what you need to build, not only the building, but also everything within the farm, your total investment is about 36 million. So you're talking about a building with a footprint of 6,500 square meters. And then you have the total investment roughly. And again, this is as an example in the US, that could be cheaper in Thailand or other places in the world. So you have roughly about an investment of 17.5 million for a building solution, and integrating that grow system, that special grow system as for an indoor farm, it's also around 18 to 90 million dollars. Fully automated, fully robotized, completely closed, no human interference in the growing cycle. And then we're talking in this case about a leafy green facility where you can produce for a variety of production. That output, this is in pounds, is about 1.2 million pounds per year. So let's say roughly 600,000 kilos per year, also depending on the varieties, continuously. Well, the revenue figures a little bit over 12 million, and also the operational numbers, the operational costs towards 9 million. And in this case, this is fully including production, guaranteed production and operational management of a farm. And because also the farms, our customers do not want to be farmers. They want to get rid of existing supply chains, and they will want to integrate these production facilities into their distribution model. So if you go to a 6,500 square meter farm, you're talking about a return on investment in this case of a little bit over 5 years. If you would double that size, and what we're intending to do, the investment cost will go down, but not that much, and return on investment will decrease in below 4 years. And there are some cases that it's even below 3 years, for instance, if you talk about the Middle East. But I've seen the low prices in Thailand, and I think that there can be a really feasible business case as well in the Bangkok area. Now I want to just show you a little bit an impression what's happening. Of course, you know, all know that we have disasters in climate. In this case, this is an example from Europe, and what's this causing. We have floods, we have natural disasters, we many things which are impacting the supply chain of fresh produce. Large parts of the year we're depending on importing produce from other countries, and you see that automatically, even in the Netherlands, this has impact on the supply chain, and produce is not always available. Also, one of the problems, water. It's and you see that almost everywhere in the world. Either you have too much or you have too less. It's very important to be more sufficient with water systems. And again, like I mentioned before, a lot of insecticides and herbicides and pesticides are still being used. How do you know that it's not being used? You just do not know. If you have it local, if you have it fully controlled in an indoor farm, there's no need to use herbicides and pesticides. And I think Lieselot also mentioned this. There's a tremendous loss in the supply chain of fresh produce. Because you see there's in the conventional way of production, there's a 53% loss due to supply chain. Every hub that's there again will lose some of the quality, not only because the bad input, but also because the conditions where it's being shipped and put over. With indoor farming, when you produce it next to the customers, it will only bring it down to 3%. And I think that still can be better. What I see for Thailand is that, especially Bangkok, you see a major increase, like I said in the beginning, that populations are increasing, but there's a big desire for food, and you do not have food production facilities within cities. I'm sure that together we can make sure that we can build indoor farming solutions within Thailand that are profitable, that will bring a continuous production of food. What we bring is also operational management of the facilities, but also the know-how, the knowledge. And I think it's really important for Thailand, or it can be really important to be one of the first in the regions, because if you will be the first, and I think because of the collaboration that Thailand and the Netherlands have for years, there can be a major advantage. So we're willing to share knowledge and make Thailand successful in the first initial indoor farms. What you see, the basic productions products for the indoor farms at the moment are the leafy greens, herbs, and also strawberries is very interesting market. You also see a market for different berries, and then you also have the vine crops, the tomatoes, sweet peppers, cucumbers. This is at the moment the majority of the production. Though you see the most profitable at this time are the leafy greens, because you have a system where you have a great variety and fully automated, so it's very safe, low labor cost, maximum automation. So just a recap of the slide I started. So the profitability payback in 3 to 5 years. Very sustainable because we use less natural resources like water, 97% less water, almost a 1-on-1 conversion in every liter to almost a kilogram of produce. Ready to eat, no pesticides or herbicides. Food miles are almost gone because you produce it next to the consumers. Reduction of the carbon footprint. And again, the consistency, it's very important. You have a guaranteed yield year round, every week in, week out, the same production, not depending on the climate, and also not depending on the local climate. Thank you for your attention, and if there are any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them now. And of course, you can always ask them to me afterwards.
Thank you, Justin. Very insightful with facts and numbers, and thank you for sharing that with us. Please bear with us that we quickly recap in local language, and then accordingly we might have some questions for you in the end of the session. It was practical, insightful, but I think also in Thailand we have different crops, and my question to you later, and also is it applicable to study different crops to have it also grown inside city or under green belt to reduce the cold chain or the chain towards the consumer? And how are next Gen Z aware about what they eat? The new generation, food safe, where it comes from. Maybe you have some thoughts on that. Meanwhile, I need to go to Kun Pichaya. There she is, and she will give a quick recap.
ค่ะก็ขอสรุปสั้นๆนะคะในส่วนของบริษัท Infinite Acre นะคะก็เป็นผู้นำทางด้านการปลูกผักแบบอินดอร์นะคะซึ่งก็เป็นระบบปิดทั้งหมดนะคะแล้วก็จากที่ทางบริษัทแนะนำเนี่ยก็คือว่า ในการปลูกผักระบบนี้นะคะก็คือจะสามารถคืนทุนได้ภายใน 3-5 ปีนะคะแล้วก็มีความยั่งยืนมากกว่าเนื่องจากใช้ทรัพยากรน้อยกว่าปล่อยคาร์บอนไดออกไซด์น้อยกว่าแล้วก็ใช้น้ำน้อยลงถึง 97% นะคะเมื่อเทียบกับการปลูกแบบปกตินะคะแล้วก็เนื่องจากเป็นระบบปิดเนี่ยเพราะฉะนั้นก็ไม่จำเป็นต้องใช้พวกยาฆ่าแมลงหรือว่าสารเคมีต่างๆในการปลูกนะคะแล้วก็นอกจากนั้นเนี่ยก็ยังช่วยลดในส่วนของตรงคาร์บอนฟุตพริ้นท์ได้นะคะเนื่องจากว่าก็คือเราลดการขนส่งนะคะของพืชผักค่ะแล้วก็เนื่องจากเป็นระบบปิดนะคะก็คือทำให้มีความสม่ำเสมอของระบบนี้มากกว่าแล้วก็ไม่ได้ขึ้นอยู่กับคอนดิชันต่างๆที่อยู่ด้านนอกนะคะทำให้การปลูกเนี่ยก็คือมีความสม่ำเสมอค่ะซึ่งในตรงส่วนเนี่ยนะคะก็คือจะตอบโจทย์challenge ของโลกยุคปัจจุบันนี้นะคะทั้งในส่วนของที่เป็นตัวส่วนผู้บริโภคเองหรือส่วนของเทรนด์ของทางโลกนี้เองนะคะที่ทุกอย่างเนี่ยก็จะอยู่เข้ามาในสังคมเมืองมากขึ้นคนต้องการความปลอดภัยแล้วก็ตัวผู้บริโภคเนี่ยก็ต้องการผลผลิตที่เป็นโลคอลแล้วก็มีความมีผลดีต่อสุขภาพนะคะซึ่งจากกราฟที่ทางคุณจัสตินได้แนะนำนะคะก็คือการปลูกผักแบบ indoor farming ที่ทุกท่านเห็นทางด้านขวาในกราฟตอนนั้นนะคะก็คือ production เนี่ยสูงที่สุดแล้วก็มีการใช้น้ำแล้วก็ใช้สารเคมีที่น้อยที่สุดอะค่ะแล้วก็ในตารางที่เป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับจำนวนเงินนะคะก็คือขนาดฟาร์มอะค่ะก็คือมีผลต่อว่าเราจะสามารถคืนทุนได้รวดเร็วมากน้อยแค่ไหนค่ะเขาก็ยกตัวอย่างมา2ขนาดในด้านแรกฝั่งซ้ายอะค่ะก็คือจะเป็นขนาดที่เล็กกว่าอีกด้านหนึ่งก็คือจะเป็นแบบดับเบิลไซส์ขึ้นมานะคะก็คือถ้าสมมติว่าขนาดใหญ่ขึ้นเนี่ยลงทุนมากขึ้นก็จริงแต่ว่าก็คือคืนทุนเร็วมากขึ้นด้วยค่ะแล้วก็ทางบริษัทเนี่ยก็เป็นผู้นำทางด้านโซลูชันเกี่ยวกับด้านการปลูกผักแบบอินดอร์ทั้งหมดนะคะทั้งเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการออเปเรตหรือว่าทั้งโน้ตฮาวต่างๆนะคะแล้วเขาก็เชื่อว่าประเทศไทยเนี่ยจะเป็นประเทศสำคัญนะคะที่จะขึ้นมาเป็นผู้นำทางด้านการปลูกผักแบบอินดอร์ในภูมิภาคนี้ได้นะคะเพราะว่าเราเองเนี่ยก็มีรีซอสที่พร้อมแล้วก็มีหลายๆอย่างที่พร้อมนะคะแล้วก็นอกจากนั้นนะคะในส่วนของ food waste นะคะก็ลดลงเป็นอย่างมากคือถ้าปลูกแบบปกติอะค่ะก็อาจจะสูญเสียมากถึง 53% ใน supply chain แต่ว่าในการปลูกแบบ indoor ก็ waste ก็จะลดลงเหลือประมาณแค่ 3% ค่ะแล้วก็สำหรับปัจจุบันนี้ product ที่ได้จากการปลูกแบบ indoor นะคะก็จะมีพวกกลุ่มผักใบเขียวแตงกวามะเขือเทศสตรอเบอรี่นะคะแต่ว่าส่วนที่ทำกำไรมากที่สุดเนี่ยก็คือเป็นกลุ่มของผักใบเขียวค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay, thank you. Great. Are there any questions for Justin, Infinite Acres? Okay. Oh, there you go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Justin. In your opinion, what do you think is the biggest obstacle to duplicate the system from the Infinite Acres from the Netherlands to Thailand? What is the difficulty to make the same here in Thailand as in the Netherlands that you are already doing the production?
We're building the same system everywhere in the world, there the only difficulty, and I wouldn't even address it as a difficulty, is you need to change for every environment a little bit technology because of the output for the local climate conditions. That's the only, you need to do a little bit engineering, but that's about it. To make sure you can achieve the inside climate conditions. So I think it's almost a no-brainer. I think it's all about finding the right partners to make sure this can happen and that you can integrate with existing supply chains or new supply chains.
Does that answer your question? Are there any question? One more for Justin? No? No? Okay, Justin, maybe you can share some insights on the things we've just shared with you, previewing on how indoor farming would be successful here.
Yeah, what I've seen, and of course I did a little bit of research about the local market. Even though I've been several times to Thailand, I've never went to a grocery store to do my own buying. But what I've seen, the price levels are very interesting, and they're compared to the Netherlands still pretty high from what's available online. And I think based on those numbers, you can make a pretty good business case. And also, your second question was what you see is in the consumer awareness, the new millennials that are really want to know where their food comes from, and what kind of impact does it have, not only for Thailand, but maybe for the world. They're more aware of that, and you see the older people are focusing more on the quality of life, and the quality of life means also extending their life, living healthy, doing yoga, but also consume sufficient vitamins, make sure you have the right nutritious volume that you will get, and you can all those vitamins and nutrition values you can control much more with indoor farming compared to conventional ways of growing.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Thank you for your presentations. Please bear with us, and then we might have a bit more questions from the audience to indoor farming. Thanks again, and we will go to the next speaker. I know it's quite some content, but we have to ask everybody to keep it practical and very short. Circular economy. 2-3 years ago, we were shouting that in the aisles, like sustainability is old school, circular is new school, and everybody was, you know, not laughing, but it was kind of strange. And now, I think in Thailand, circular economy is really back on the agenda, and to create new products and new solution opportunities for farmers to reproduce waste or something else that they can sell again and make it having a good impact. And the next speaker is Rick Passier, and Rick will share with us on how public but also private sector create this ecosystem on how you can be successful. Rick, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Ah, there you are. Thank you for being with us, Rick. You have 15 minutes. We're excited to learn on how you envision circular economy in Thailand.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this great event. Happy to share on behalf of the Holland Circular Hotspot what kind of role we play in the circular economy. Just as a background, I'm a founder and director of PACE Business Partners, and I've been working in Thailand for about 6-7 years now with different organizations. Have also been well connected with the Netherlands Embassy in Thailand, and have also been working together with Nexpo under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology in creating the national strategy for circular economy in Thailand. Now, Holland Circular Hotspot is a governmental organization in the Netherlands facilitating basically partnerships internationally with respect to circular economy. And as a special envoy to this Holland Circular Hotspot, I am also arranging similar partnerships between Thailand, Indonesia, India, and also Dutch companies. Now, just to get started, we're all living in very unique times, and I'm always inspired by this image where we think, of course, COVID-19 is really affecting our day-to-day lives. But what is also increasingly becoming apparent is that climate change and biodiversity, and of course the relation to circular economy and sustainable agriculture practices are just getting started. And there's so much technology and innovations out there in development, already commercial, that you have seen so far in these presentations, but this is yet to be explored and fully tapped into, and the time for that is now. Now, like I just mentioned, the Holland Circular Hotspot is a governmental organization within the Netherlands with the main mission to connect and to accelerate the transition towards the circular economy. as you may know, within the Netherlands, circular economy is a very hot topic. Innovations and technologies are being developed. Also, innovative business models are being created. And Holland Circular Hotspot both enables these technologies to be adopted elsewhere in the world, but at the same time, it also facilitates investors, relations, but also potential technologies that have been developed outside of the Netherlands to be implemented in the Netherlands. And within the hotspot, we serve three categories of stakeholders: companies, knowledge institutes, and governments. Now, within the Netherlands, this is all driven, this whole circular economy transition is driven by the policy target to be fully 100% circular by 2050, which means that within different priority sectors that you see on the left side of this slide, ambitious programs need to be developed for actually developing new solutions and technologies, but also implementing them. And one of these priority sector is the biomass and food sector, which is of course relevant for you as well. And there are, on the right side of the slide, there are different metrics and systems in place to stimulate that, such as financing, market incentives, but also regulations, legislation, and of course, knowledge institutes. And also the Holland Circular Hotspot is really integrated in all of these activities in order to accelerate this transition. Now, with respect to transition agenda, biomass and food, which closely relates to the SDG target 12.3, there's a big drive towards the following points: sustainably produced biomass, circular and regenerative use of soil and nutrients, transition to vegetable proteins, and also, of course, going away from animal-based proteins, feeding and greening megacities, reducing food waste, and also optimum value creation of biomass as well. Now, this connects to a lot of innovations that some of them have been presenting here. But to make the connection to, let's say, the Thai ecosystem, over the last year, together with Nexpo, we have been running the program with respect to creating the national roadmap for circular economy in Thailand. And one of these priority areas also here in Thailand is also the food and agriculture industry. So what we did, we made an analysis of the opportunities, circular economy opportunities, with respect to the agro-food industry. And in black and gray, you see the streams of materials and feedstocks. And in red, you see here, let's say, the untapped opportunities that are out there for either waste minimization or utilization of resources that are currently not being used, basically untapped potential. So going from the bottom here, we have agriculture, production, basically the basic agriculture, fisheries, livestock, but also crop production. Then we have the food industry, of course, making foodstuffs out of that, retail and hospitality, consumer waste. And then, of course, we can connect to that same loop, to the same circle, with nutrient recycling, waste utilization, CO2 sequestration even, but also we can connect to different value chains, such as the manufacturing industry, using either biomass or using, let's say, waste streams for the utilization of creating new materials, new chemicals, new ingredients, and those can all be used in different non-food applications. And by closing that loop, also we can connect back again by using, for example, compostable packaging and products, using that back as nutrients in the agro-food industry. Now, this yields enormous opportunity for R&D, but also for, let's say, technology localization. Now, at the same time, we've been looking at solutions that are being explored elsewhere. So we did a full-fledged study on what kind of solutions are already happening within the SME and also the multinational company landscape within Thailand, where frankly a lot of things are happening in a very positive way, but also within the Netherlands and different parts of the world. And actually on all these items that are plotted here, there are solutions that are currently already commercial or perhaps pre-commercial, that are already offering potential for either collaboration or adaptation within Thailand, right? And I will explain a few in a moment. From, let's say, different sources of proteins to using waste streams as feedstock for materials, CO2 sequestration and development of, let's say, fertilizers based on food waste. So all these different steps, we can already find innovative solutions, technologies, startups, but also well-proven business models that can be adopted within Thailand as well. And it also works the other way around. So within Thailand also, there are technology innovations that are coming from a different perspective that could be very potentially beneficial for the Netherlands as well. Additionally, it's interesting to see that within, let's say, the Thai governmental and financing framework, in the coming period, and this is already happening now, a lot of budgets for fundamental research, for, let's say, pilot programs is and will be available, also to facilitate and also to acquire partnerships in this category. So if you do, for example, a grant with Nexpo, then you can get until around 10% of your funding you can allocate for technology transfers with international parties. So that also creates opportunity to work together with Dutch parties and pilot, let's say, existing technologies and solutions from the Netherlands into the Thai ecosystems. So a few examples that may be known to you, maybe not, is, for example, the black soldier fly, to use that type of bug to basically feed on organic waste streams. And by creating the eggs and by growing themselves, they can be converted into proteins, high value and also very pure proteins for feed, let's say for animal feed, for fatty acid extraction, oil extraction, but also for fertilizers. Then we have on the retail side, we have restaurant concepts that actually facilitate the utilization of surplus food stocks and feed that can be used in dining experience, which are very much one of a kind, because of course every day the surplus foods are different, and therefore also every day you can get a different food experience there. Something on the waste valorization side is, let's say, a waste stream valorization from fruit leather, making that from waste from orange peels or from apple peels, or the other way around, making it more into a, let's say, transition feedstock by using organic waste and transforming that into, for example, biogas. And biogas can be really a transition feedstock for different kind of processes, industrially or for energy purposes. Something else which relates more to CO2 capture, CCU, and also the creation of bio-based chemicals is the whole alginate and also the micro development and creating valuable bio-based chemicals based off CO2 and also different forms of ingredients. But also totally different kind of concepts. So in the Netherlands, we have the first CO2 neutral chicken egg farm, which is developed currently in the province of Limburg, which is also a very promising state where also, let's say, not only the CO2 side is taken care of, but let's say the total ecosystem there is fully, let's say, neutral, in the sense that also all waste streams are being captured and recirculated and developed in different sorts of products or intermediates. And then something else which may also be very interesting for the Thai ecosystems is, let's say, the blue side of things. So basically using the oceans to create also interesting agricultural practices, aquacultural practices, such as the use of seaweed, which can, in its growth, also capture CO2 or carbons in general, and also create a very innovative feed, food, and pharmaceutical ingredients as well. And now if we look at the time momentum, of course, we see a huge momentum towards the BCG in Action program, right? Which is also stimulated by the cabinet at the moment, but also reinforced not only by the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, which really uses this as a flagship program, but also BOI, for example, Board of Industry is also using this framework to give tax breaks to either foreign companies like Dutch companies that want to settle in Thailand. There's opportunities to get up till, I believe, 10 or 15 years tax breaks to get funded into the Thai ecosystems. And also there are research grants, collaboration grants, and also let's say co-financing opportunities within the agriculture and food pyramid, from let's say precision agriculture to seed technology and to innovative agricultural products and byproducts to biotech and functional foods. So I would say we should really try to utilize this momentum in Thailand with such a big drive on the agricultural and biotech ecosystems, and create interesting collaborations with Dutch enterprises, Dutch governments and organizations to really build that partnership that can create a lot of synergy for research development, but also actual action to facilitate this transition towards a circular economy. So a few key takeaways, what we see, and of course this talk is extremely short, but there's so much to share. But the gist is that the circular and the bioeconomy transitions are happening today. Front-running businesses are embracing it. Doesn't matter if you're a big, a small, or even a government organization, there are opportunities for circular and bioeconomy transitions. These transitions are happening both in developed and developing countries. And let's say all countries are different, all ecosystems are different, all climates are different, and each will pose different opportunities for development and creation of unique technologies and solutions. But there's also a lot of overlap, and we need to use this overlap to create adaptive systems and adapt technologies from other regions to really leapfrog, and create and use also our momentum and our drive to really leapfrog into the technology space. Next to that is also an opportunity for us, especially coming back to my first slide with respect to COVID-19. I think COVID-19 has teaches all that, we as a global economy and a global ecosystem, we need to be much more resilient, and we need to be much more driven towards continuity. And I think in Thailand, you're in a very privileged position because you are so close to production, manufacturing, and agricultural practice. However, there's many countries, if you look at, for example, Singapore, which is such a mega city environment with so little room for agricultural practice, that we need to embrace these new technologies about, indeed, how can we grow and cultivate our crops more close to home? How can we be implementing more sustainable practice? How can we valorize the waste streams that we are creating, etc.? And also, businesses cannot do this transition completely by themselves. This is something that we all need to collaborate towards, and therefore also within the Holland Circular Hotspot, we really focus on this collaboration between businesses, governments, and NGOs to really create and accelerate each other into the right direction. So just a call to action to finish. Within the Holland Circular Hotspot, we are here to enable collaboration between Dutch and international parties and stakeholders. As already mentioned earlier, there are extremely well a connection built already between Thailand and the Netherlands. There have been signing of different agreements also on these kind of themes, and really the Holland Circular Hotspot can also enable, if you have a specific request, either you want to collaborate with an organization or a solution provider within the Netherlands, or you have something to offer which may be adopted in Europe and in the Netherlands, then Holland Circular Hotspot is the right place to knock the door and to explore together with us what we can do. So thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Rick. Detailed, strong information, perspective, and this last is also an opportunity for Thailand. I saw my today's colleague, Kun Pichayat, taking notes, and I wish you good luck with making a summary of all the details that he shared. There are later, after Kun Pichayat's summary, room for 1 or 2 questions if you like. Kun Pichayat?
Yes ค่ะก็จะขอสรุปนะคะทางคุณริกนะคะก็คือมาจากหน่วยงานชื่อ Holland Circular Hotspot นะคะก็คือเป็นหน่วยงานของทางรัฐบาลนะคะที่จะเข้ามาช่วยเหลือในการความร่วมมือแล้วก็ partnership นะคะที่จะสนับสนุนตัว circular economy นะคะก็คือหรือ circular economy ก็คือเหมือนทางรูปที่ทางเขาแนะนำไปนะคะก็คือการหมุนเวียนของระบบของทางเศรษฐกิจนะคะซึ่งในตัว circular economy เองเนี่ยก็มีทางเนเธอร์แลนด์นะคะก็มีแผนที่ว่าภายในปี 2050 นะคะทางประเทศเนเธอร์แลนด์เนี่ยก็มีนโยบายของทางรัฐบาลนะคะที่จะปรับตัวให้เข้าไปอยู่ใน circular economy ทั้งหมดนะคะซึ่งในจุดนี้ค่ะก็คือเป็นทั้งหลายๆเซกเตอร์ด้วยกันซึ่งในกลุ่มของเซกเตอร์ที่เป็นด้านอาหารหรือว่า biomass นะคะก็เป็นกลุ่มที่ได้รับความสำคัญเป็นหลักนะคะซึ่งตรงจุดนี้เนี่ยก็คือจะเน้นไปที่การผลิตอย่างยั่งยืนการที่มีการใช้ซ้ำการย้ายไปสู่การใช้โปรตีนจากทางพืชผักนะคะหรือว่าการลดฟู้ดเวสต์เองก็ตามนะคะซึ่งจากภาพวงกลมนะคะที่ทางคุณลิกแนะนำก็คือจะมีทั้งส่วนที่เป็นฟู้ดแล้วก็นอนฟู้ดนะคะที่ยังมีจุดต่างๆที่ทำให้สามารถทุกอย่างเนี่ยเคลื่อนที่ได้เป็นวงกลมได้นะคะซึ่งทางจุดถ้าทุกท่านจำได้ค่ะก็คือจะมีตรง point ที่เป็นสีแดงที่เขาทำไว้นะคะก็คือจะเป็นจุดที่มีการใช้เทคโนโลยีต่างๆเข้ามาแล้วเองในประเทศไทยนะคะที่จะช่วยให้เกิด circular economy นี้ขึ้นนะคะซึ่งทางโซลูชันต่างๆที่มีใช้นะคะเขาก็ยกตัวอย่างขึ้นมาอยู่ในบางส่วนนะคะเช่นพูดถึงการใช้แมลงวันนะคะที่ไปกินตรงส่วนที่เป็นขยะออร์แกนิกนะคะแล้วตัวแมลงวันเองเนี่ยก็จะถูกเอามาผลิตเป็นโปรตีนสำหรับสัตว์ได้หรือว่าเอามาสกัดเอาตัวน้ำมันหรือว่ากรดไขมันนะคะหรือเอาไปใช้เป็นตัวปุ๋ยเองได้ด้วยเหมือนกันนะคะหรือว่าเขาก็ยกตัวอย่างในส่วนที่เป็นร้านอาหารนะคะที่เอาอาหารส่วนเกินส่วนที่มีมากไปนะคะมาใช้เป็นเมนูซึ่งก็จะเปลี่ยนไปในแต่ละวันเพราะว่ามันก็ขึ้นอยู่กับว่ามีอะไรบ้างที่เป็นส่วนเกินขึ้นมานะคะหรือว่าการผลิตแผ่นหนังจากเวสจากผลไม้นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นเปลือกส้มหรือเปลือกแอปเปิลนะคะหรือว่าการเอาของเสียเนี่ยไปทำเป็นไบโอแก๊สนะคะหรือว่าการใช้ทางพวกกลุ่มสาหร่ายหรือแพลงก์ตอนเป็นมาผลิตเป็นแบบ bio based chemical นะคะหรือว่าในเนเธอร์แลนด์เองเนี่ยก็มีฟาร์มที่ผลิตไข่ไก่โดยที่แบบคาร์บอนนิวทรัลนะคะก็คือเป็นสูตรแบบมีเป็นศูนย์เลยนะคะเป็นนิวทรัลแล้วก็ทีนี้เขาก็แนะนำว่าจริงๆในประเทศไทยแล้วช่วงนี้นะคะก็คือเป็นนโยบายของรัฐบาลเองอยู่แล้วที่ต้องการสนับสนุนเรื่องนี้นะคะซึ่งถ้าหากทุกท่านสนใจที่จะศึกษาเพิ่มเติมหรือว่าเกิดความร่วมมือกันระหว่างบริษัททางเนเธอร์แลนด์นะคะทาง Holland Circular Hotspot นะคะก็คือเป็นตัวการที่จะเชื่อมสิ่งเหล่านี้ให้ได้นะคะแล้วก็ในเรื่อง Circular Economy อะค่ะก็เป็นสิ่งที่กำลังเกิดขึ้นอยู่ทุกวันนี้แล้วก็ทางภาคธุรกิจเองก็ไม่สามารถเคลื่อนไปข้างหน้าได้ด้วยตัวเองแต่ว่าก็ต้องเกิดจากการร่วมมือกันในหลายๆฝ่ายนะคะแล้วก็ในทุกๆประเทศเนี่ยก็กำลังมุ่งหน้าไปสู่ทางนี้ค่ะก็ซึ่งเขาเองก็มองว่าตรงนี้ก็เป็นโอกาสดีนะคะเนื่องจากประเทศไทยเองเนี่ยก็อยู่ใกล้ชิดกับระบบการผลิตนะคะก็ซึ่งสามารถมีโอกาสใช้ตรงส่วนนี้ค่ะเข้าไปเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในระบบ circular economy นี้ได้ค่ะ
Did she miss anything or?
I don't know.
Okay. Then we're on schedule. Thank you, Rick. Anybody questions for Rick's circular economy opportunity? I don't see. Yes, Rick, please bear with us. We have one question. Okay.
So I have a few questions about the neutral carbon in the egg. what can you, I mean, elaborate more on what they are doing on that? Are they buying carbon credit to compensate, or they actually have some kind of special process to make it carbon neutral?
Yeah, maybe I can share with you. You know, I think that the presentation will be shared as well, right? I can also share with the audience a little bit more detail about this specific example, so then everybody can have a look for themselves, because this is an operational company already. What they do is they have made an analysis of the whole ecosystem of creating basically an egg. And all of the waste streams that are being produced in that system, they are recirculating in different applications. And also they have modified the feed that they give to the chicken in order that this is also a much better CO2 footprint. And additionally, they also, with innovative filtration systems, they can purify and they can capture carbon as well. So this is not just one technology that they implemented, it's a whole system analysis, and each part of that system they have taken care of with different technologies. And then in the end they created this first one-of-a-kind plot, and I think they're also available for licensing these kind of technologies.
Does that answer your question? And Rick, would you have any information about Kipster that you could send to us that we could share? Or?
Of course, yes, I can share that. Yeah.
Okay, we will share that information once we receive this. If there are no more questions, then we'll head out to the next speaker. And the next speaker works for NL in Business, and he makes possible that across the world we can network among and learn from companies in produce, in agriculture. And also navigates and helps Dutch entrepreneurs to get in contact with Thai business people to share R&D, also to get in business with one another. I would like to welcome Jeroen van Haver. Jeroen.
Sawadi Tambai. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Jeroen. Yes, welcome, and thank you for being here with us. I see you have a great background. Jeroen, you will bring us through a quick journey on how you could help us with networking and expertise content from the Netherlands to Thailand.
Yes, indeed. Let me just share my screen. So, Sawadi Tambai, very good afternoon again to you all, and I'm very pleased that we can conclude the session with a short presentation about NL in Business. We are much part of this whole luncheon and webinar that has been organized by the NTCC and partners, DEPA, and we, as NL in Business, we are actually an organization that is kind of a one-stop platform for international trade and business. I'm waiting for the next slide. Yeah. So we are a one-stop shop platform for entrepreneurs with borderless ambitions, because what we discover is that many entrepreneurs in doing business, they have many questions about different markets. For instance, where do I find an engineer for my recycling machines in Mexico? Or I'm looking for raw materials in Indonesia or maybe in Thailand, but where do I start? Or maybe a Thai partner that is saying, I'm looking for a business partner in the Netherlands, but where do I start? So these type of questions are really coming up, and we as an organization, as NL in Business, we are there to help the entrepreneurs with their international journey. And on our platform, you can find lots of information and partners that can help you finding these answers to your questions and help entrepreneurs with being more successful in their international journey. So we say we are this one-stop platform because we offer kind of a listing of all the service providers in the Netherlands that can help entrepreneurs with being connected on international business. But we also have the NL Business Hubs. And the NTCC, the Netherlands Thai Chamber of Commerce, is one of our premier NL Business Hubs, of course, in Bangkok, in Thailand. And they are the local network connecting Dutch and Thai industries and businesses locally in Thailand. And they can connect them to the businesses here in the Netherlands and vice versa. And the NTCC and all the other NL Business Hubs offer a very important platform for soft lending, but also for connecting Dutch companies and entrepreneurs around the world. I will come to that in a second. Also on our platform, you can find all sorts of events, publications that are dealing with international business and trade. And we even have kind of an academy where you can take courses that are related to doing international business. And lastly, but not least, there's also a virtual business gateway that we are developing, which is extremely interesting for visiting companies from abroad who would like to understand what are the key factors, such as Rick has just been presenting from Holland Circular Hotspot, what are kind of key economies and solutions that Dutch companies can maybe also provide to other companies where they can partner with. So all this information you find on our platform. And so we are really the go-to platform for connecting businesses to businesses. So we are not business to government, or we work very closely with the Dutch missions and with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and with the embassies and consulates, but we are really there to connect businesses to businesses. And we can do so because we have been initiated and founded by the two large employer and industry organizations in the Netherlands, VNO-NCW and MKB Nederland. These are the big two branch organizations that represent all the big, but also the small and medium-sized companies and entrepreneurs in the Netherlands. So through those mother organizations, we are connected to more than 240 branch organizations, ranging from metal industry, chemistry, to waste and circular, but also tourism and agri-food and all sorts of economic sectors you can think of. They are all connected to these mother organizations, and we are connected to them. We are kind of the international connection for all of them. But we are also connected to the 9 top sectors that we have in the Netherlands. Those are the cross-sectoral sectors where public and private networks, but also the knowledge industries are all coming together. And agri-food, but also horticulture, as you've learned today, is one of those 9 top sectors. And we support them, and we are a very important partner for them and with them in terms of international business, but also with organizations such as Holland Circular Hotspot. So through all these, we're also very strongly connected to R&D institutes, research and development, universities, but also vocational colleges. So it's very important that you have also the right people, students, but also later workforce on a much more vocational level to do all sorts of interesting work. And lastly, but not least, like I said, we are connected throughout the world with all these kind of Dutch companies, but also with their local partners in different countries through the NL Business Hub network. And that network consists of many organizations like the NTCC that are kind of neutral local private partners that, you know, they complement the public network like the embassy and the consulates, but they really represent the Dutch business industries. But they know also they connect with the local, in your case, with the Thai partners and companies and industries. And so they have access to a lot of networks, and they can connect to their own local business to business network. But through us and through this NL Business Hub network, we can also connect to other partners and countries and companies worldwide. So I always kind of say from Mexico City to Berlin and from Bangkok to San Francisco, we kind of cover through this network, we kind of cover the world. And thanks to the NTCC, we also have very strong Thai connections. As you see today with this luncheon and webinar that we've organized together with DEPA and the NTCC, we are able to have this fantastic webinar and this session. But also with the NTCC, we also have a very strong connection with the Thailand Board of Investment. We've organized many or events here in the Netherlands together. And also with TSAP is an interesting partner for organizing events, and hopefully once we are able to travel again, we hope to do many more. So it is very important that these local business hubs like the NTCC have a very strong network, and through them we connect to that network and vice versa. So in short, NL in Business is your year-round partner. We're providing a one-stop platform where entrepreneurs can find contacts, knowledge, and events to become more successful in more countries. So we have this access to the Dutch ecosystem, businesses, but also government, but primarily businesses. We are here for business-to-business connections. But we also have that very strong ecosystem abroad. We have these warm connections on the field of R&D and innovation and all these cross-sectoral themes, like I just mentioned. And we have this global reach through our NL in Business Hub network. We are setting up this network in more than 40 cities of opportunity, as we call it. And these cities range, like I said, from Berlin to San Francisco. They're in Latin America. They're in, of course, many of them are in Europe, but we also have many of them in the Southeast Asian region. And Bangkok is a very important partner and hub for us. And we are your partner on and offline. Our platform is, of course, very much online, and that's year round, but we also have a strong online team, including myself, to help and to really talk to you and see how we can help and connect you to more contacts and the right ideas or partners. So thank you very much for your attention. And I think this was a great session, and we would really we're looking forward to be your partner and to invite you when you are able to come to the Netherlands in the next steps in this kind of follow-up for this interesting meeting with all the Dutch kind of technology partners on circular waste, on water, on agri-food and horti. And we're very happy to connect you to the right businesses and contacts here in the Netherlands when time comes. So thank you again very much, and I wish you a very great afternoon.
Hey, thank you, Jeroen, for your closing speech. Please bear with us. We just took note that we'll take a group picture together. Before we do that, we will have a questions and answers and bring back all speakers. But before we do that, we go to a quick summary by Kun Picha.
ค่ะก็สำหรับตัวสุดท้ายนี้นะคะก็คือเป็นตัวองค์กรชื่อ NL in Business นะคะก็คือจะเป็นจุดที่เป็นศูนย์รวมแล้วก็ที่เราสามารถ connect ได้นะคะในการทำธุรกิจนะคะก็คือเป็นทั้งservice provider เป็น hub มีการจัด event แล้วก็มีเป็นคล้ายๆกับศูนย์การเรียนรู้นะคะสำหรับผู้ประกอบการนะคะที่ต้องการหรือมีความสนใจในการทำธุรกิจในเนเธอร์แลนด์หรือว่าสนใจในด้าน international นะคะซึ่งก็NL in Business นะคะก็คือมีการดำเนินการอยู่ในหลายประเทศนะคะรวมถึงกรุงเทพเองซึ่งก็มีทางหอการค้าเนเธอร์แลนด์ไทยนะคะก็คือเป็นพาร์ทเนอร์สำคัญค่ะแล้วก็การที่ NL in Business สามารถช่วยเหลือในการเชื่อมต่อด้านธุรกิจได้เนี่ยก็เนื่องจากถูกตั้งมาโดยบริษัทใหญ่ๆ2บริษัทของเนเธอร์แลนด์นะคะแล้วก็ในตัวส่วนนี้เองเนี่ยก็คือสามารถช่วยเหลือผู้ประกอบการในด้านต่างๆแล้วก็ถ้ามีอะไรก็คือสามารถติดต่อเพิ่มเติมได้ค่ะ
Okay, great, thanks. We have arrived to the sessions, questions and answers. So we had questions and answers after each session. I would like to welcome back, of course, Kun Et. Maybe you could have a seat over there if there is any. Yeah. Then we have Bram Koppert from Priva Growing Solutions. Hi, Bram is still with us. There he is. Then we have Lieselot de Vries is with us from TU Delft. Justin Schoenmaker is with us. I see Justin. Yeah, there he is. Rick Passenier is also with us with Circular Economy. Jeroen van Haver is there as well. Then thanks again, all speakers, for having this 2-hour intensive welcoming note. I hope you will see all delegates also personally, face to face. Due to COVID, the DEPA group was not able to travel to the Netherlands, and hopefully we can, with your help, create this network of opportunities and get this expertise two-way going to become better and more competitive. Who wants to kick off with a question?
Okay. Hello, my name is Prisan from DEPA. I would like to ask, like, most of the Thai farmers are smallholders. So with the, I'm not sure with the Netherlands technologies and the cost, how do you think that could be applied to the Thai smallholders in Thailand? Which technology should be implemented first, or can be applied to the Thai smallholders?
To who do you address that question?
I'm not sure if you Priva or any kind of the agri-tech technologies that can be explained to us.
Okay, Bram?
I can take it, Manuel.
Yes, you're with us. You're live. The
Okay,
question:
good.
how could smallholders also benefit from technology in mid-tech or high-tech?
Good question. Good question, because by far the most of the growers are smallholder growers, especially in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, and in the countries around. And there is a very big difference between the professional invested growers and the smallholders. But although we focused maybe more on the investment side today, there is definitely a bunch of technologies that can help smallholder farmers to improve their yield with a minimal investment. And I said it earlier, also on a kind of similar question, that with the right irrigation strategies, that with minimum investment, you can have much more precise fertilizer dosing systems, or better fertilizers itself, or more precise. And all these technologies are available also for smallholder farmers and affordable, as we see in other parts of the world as well.
Okay, does that answer your question a little bit?
Another thing is like to ask, like, of course we have some investor in or factory in these rooms, factory owners. So how can we connect to the Netherlands? For example, there are some of the herbs companies, or some of the, how do you say, cassava plantations. So some of the IT companies that who interested in your technologies, how can we reach out, or how can we searching through or in connecting with you guys?
Okay, and that's addressed to
how to say, it's like Netherlands in business.
Okay, Jeroen?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. I think you can connect through us, but also through all the partners that have been presenting here. But we are happy to be that gateway for you to connect to these partners. So there's just one shop, one gateway for you to connect, but we are connected to all these people here. So we'll just make it as easy for you as possible. But either through the NTCC, through us, Holland Circular Hotspot, you will get to the partners that you are looking for and the right people.
So do we have any benefit in connection between the Netherlands, or we can have like tax exempts to bring, how to say, the technologies coming to how to say, to Thailand or not?
Yes, yes. I think that's one of the missions for the Netherlands business community and the NTCC, not to stop here, but to keep engaged. And actually, this was more like a preview, and a preview to next year's visits. And
exactly.
Since this is like a people business, we're actually hoping to to get an engagement 365. And I think we had great examples from everybody, and that dialogue will keep going. And any inquiries could be shared with the NTCC, and we'll be putting you in connection with the right speaker, the right supplier, the right provider. And you know, as long as we benefit and we keep the dialogue going, we create the culture, and hopefully with the culture we can do things differently, and then we support each other. And also vice versa with the circular hotspot, that we also are a gateway to Europe to sell things and become also more profitable. Are there any questions? Okay, the camera is in the right direction.
Can I maybe add?
Hi. So my questions will be for Priya. Actually, I was in your headquarters in May last year, and very impressive on the theory that you have. But as we know that, I mean, in Asian country, the fruit or the vegetable that we eat is quite different from the Western country. Do you have any, I mean, concrete example of someone who implement that horticulture with this particular, I mean, tropical country, herb, vegetable, fruit that actually work? Because in Netherlands, the weather is quite cold, and you have the unfair advantage in terms of geography, because you have the underwater pocket that can keep the water, I mean, warm in the winter and cold in the summer, something like that. So that, I mean, offset a lot of investment in terms of energy. And so you also bring the carbon from your factory to the horticulture area, right? So that is something that quite, I mean, special for Netherlands. If trying to do that in Thailand or in this particular area, what would be the best way to start on thinking about this? Thank you.
Who would like to take up on that question? Then raise simply your hand and we can see you and assign your question to you. Okay. Bram Koppert from Priva will share some insights.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, and good to hear that you have visited us in the Netherlands already. Indeed, in the end, the climate determines what is the best growing solution when it is a greenhouse or open field, especially when it's a greenhouse. So we have different solutions for different climate areas in the world. And what of course it also influences the result of the growing. I mean, you cannot change the weather. You cannot change the light intensity from the sun. You cannot change the water sources. The water sources are there and you can make adjustments, but you need to work with what you have. So certainly that influences the result, but looking at the Priva experience, which is really worldwide, both in tropical areas, very cold climates, indeed also the moderate climate in Holland, we always find a way to make it work. Sometimes it's with extra heating, sometimes it's with extra cooling. There is many options. You also refer to the cold and the heat storage in our office, which is indeed a beautiful technology that is used in deltas. It's used a lot in the Netherlands, but it's not suitable for all over the world. But looking at Thailand, there could be other solutions with waste heat or waste cooling from factories. So it's when it comes to these big projects, it's a project approach, and technical teams help there to find the best solution. So there is not a one fixed solution, but there is always a solution that fits best for the local conditions.
Thank you, Bram. Thank you. Other questions? We also have a speaker here live from Midpon, who's not digital, but in real life. Yes.
So actually, add to that. Yes, our greenhouse is very hot. If any of the team over there would like to do a POC and a demonstration plan, welcome to come to our research area. We have plenty of room and plenty of need for greenhouse. So we have a team who are always looking for low energy and try to keep the greenhouse cool. So let me know if you have anything you guys can suggest.
Sure, I think that would be great for Bram or for Infinite Acres and Lieselot to get in touch with you and to brainstorm on what they can offer you. I have questions here that was asked previously. Any questions from this end? No. Okay. I think most of the things are covered. Again, everybody, thank you very much for being here with us today. And then we have Bram from Priva, who shared how you could venture into the future, and also very smart on investments, Justin indoor farming, who shared great examples and return on investments that they have done elsewhere. Rick, thank you also for your presentation on circular hotspots, on giving a gateway into Europe, but also vice versa, and helping the Thai circular economy to perform better. Lieselot, also big thanks. I think with you, we really ventured into the future with Plantena and things that are way ahead of us, but that's really appreciated. Jeroen, thanks again. We hope to see you live in Bangkok, and also networking. Kun Ed from Midpon, I will bring you in contact with Bram and with Infinite Acres. If there are any questions whatsoever, even after this session, we'd like to stay in touch with you 365 and keep this dialogue going. I really hope that a mission can be, or an excursion can be done to the Netherlands, in where we support with speakers and expertise your way forward. We have also the Netherlands Awards on the 20th of November, on a Friday. You're welcome to get in touch with us and network to finding the right contacts. We believe in Thailand, and we're here to support you 24/7 on that road. But also we have a lot of things to learn from you and to tailor things to current climate and challenges. With that being said,
yes, so we would like to add something more from DEPA side. So I will invite Dr. Prisan to speak for a bit.
ก็ก่อนอื่นต้องกล่าวขอบคุณทุกท่านนะครับที่อุตส่าห์เสียสละเวลามาร่วมงานกับทาง DEPA และ NTCC นะครับในการจัดตัวให้องค์ความรู้ในครั้งนี้นะครับก็หวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าเราจะมีความร่วมมือกันในอนาคตนะครับแล้วก็ทาง NTCC ก็บอกว่าวันที่ 20 เนี่ยจะมีการจัดกาลาดินเนอร์นะครับที่ where is it สยามคาเปนสกี้นะครับก็อยากจะเชิญทุกท่านเนี่ยเข้าร่วมงานด้วยนะครับก็จะเป็นการเขาเรียกอะไร business engagement นะครับแล้วก็มีการสังสรรค์กันนิดหน่อยนะครับประมาณนั้นครับในวันที่ 20 นะครับสำหรับสำนักงานส่งเสริมเศรษฐกิจดิจิทัลเนี่ยนะครับโดยท่านรองชัดชัยคุณปิติลักษณ์นะครับก็ขณะนี้ก็จะมีมาตรการนะครับเขาเรียกว่ามาตรการ Digital Transformation Fund นะครับให้สำหรับทางด้านการเกษตรนะครับโดยเฉพาะปีนี้ก็จะมีประมาณสัก20ทุนนะครับแยกเป็น10ทุนสำหรับภาคการเกษตรนะครับอีก10ทุนเนี่ยสำหรับเกษตรปศุสัตว์นะครับซึ่งมาตรการนี้นะครับก็จะมีการ Matching Fund หมายถึงว่าเราออกให้ 60% นะครับแต่ว่าท่านผู้ประกอบการเนี่ยที่เป็น SME เนี่ยออกประมาณสัก 40% นะครับแล้วก็ VAT เนี่ยอาจจะต้องรบกวนทางผู้ประกอบการเนี่ยเป็นผู้ออกเองนะครับโดยที่มูลค่าของโครงการเนี่ยที่เราจะออกให้เนี่ยไม่เกิน 250,000 บาทนะครับซึ่งตรงนี้เนี่ยเราก็จะประกาศให้รับทราบทุกคนรับทราบตามเว็บไซต์ของเรานะครับซึ่งเราก็จะมีมาตรการนี้สนับสนุนนะครับสำหรับทางผู้ประกอบการเองเนี่ยถ้ามีลูกข่ายหมายถึงว่ามีเกษตรกรนะครับที่อยู่ในเป็นลูกค้าของท่านเนี่ยที่มีความต้องการอยากจะใช้พวกระบบน้ำหรือระบบต่างๆเป็นการเช่าใช้บริการนะครับเราก็จะมีคูปองนะครับเป็นมินิวอลเชอร์นะครับคูปองละไม่เกิน 10,000 บาทนะครับแต่ว่าแวดเนี่ยต้องผู้เกษตรกรอาจจะเป็นผู้ออกเองนะครับโดยที่เกษตรกรนี้ต้องขึ้นทะเบียนกับหน่วยงานของรัฐนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นกรมส่งเสริมการเกษตรกรมปศุสัตว์หรือว่ากรมประมงนะครับที่จะเช่าใช้บริการระบบดิจิทัลต่างๆที่มีบริการไว้ให้นะครับตรงนี้เนี่ยก็เพื่อประโยชน์กับพี่น้องเกษตรกรหรือว่าผู้ประกอบการนะครับที่มีเครือข่ายหรือว่ามีลูกฟาร์มอยู่นะครับเพื่อให้ใช้ประโยชน์ทางด้านดิจิทัลได้สูงสุดนะครับตรงนี้ครับก็ หวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าโครงการพวกนี้เนี่ยจะเป็นประโยชน์สำหรับทุกๆท่านไม่มากก็น้อยนะครับซึ่งเราก็จะมีประกาศต่อไปตามเว็บไซต์ของพวกเรานะครับท่านรองมีอะไรจะเพิ่มเติมอีกไหมครับครับขอบคุณมากเลยครับ
With that being said, I would like to conclude unless you have any
Yes,
final
no,
words.
No, that was about how can DEPA support the business to transformation into the use of technology.
Yes.
So that was.
I've asked each speaker to be very concrete, 15 minutes. We've deleted a lot of slides, but in general, we would like to say one thing, which is just a big welcome to engage and explore opportunities. If we really would have gone Dutch, you will have half-hour sessions, more slides, more graphs, and we've limited on that. And we really hope to welcome you in the Netherlands and also the Dutch here to keep this dialogue going and build this championize those horticulture industry from both sides. And that, with that being said, unless you want to share anything, or maybe you can hold it. Or...
I would like to take this opportunity to thank NTCC, the Embassy of the Netherlands, to let us involve into these wonderful projects. And unfortunately, with the COVID-19, it prevents us from visiting your beautiful country. But nevertheless, we will be very relentless. We'll keep an eye on the outbreak again. And if we can travel, I'll see most of the speakers that present us here today. And we look forward to meeting you in live person over there very soon, I hope. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. With that being said, we'd like to conclude today's session. I hope it was inspiring. Keep us posted. We have a group picture I've been informed to have, so I would like to welcome everybody to the front. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then speakers, please bear with us. I think some of you have disconnected. We'll take one group picture and which will be taken now. Thanks again, everybody, and we hope to be in touch with you soon.
Bye-bye.
Zijn we eruit? Voor mij is de verbinding Bangkok weg.
Ja, volgens mij ook. Dus.
Alright, back to business.
Back to business.
Fijne dag, Jeroen.
Jij ook. Hoi hoi.
Dank je.